It started with the rain. Marcus had always liked it. The sound, the rhythm, the way it swallowed the noise of the world. In the rain, people disappear into hoods and umbrellas, and the city's ugliness blurs into something softer. That night, the cafe was nearly empty. Just him, a college kid glued to her laptop, and the old man behind the counter washing mugs for the third time. Marcus sipped at the last inch of his coffee, thinking about nothing in particular, when the door chimed. She entered like she'd walked out of a half-forgotten dream. Tall, pale skin, dark hair stuck to her cheeks from the storm. She didn't look at anyone. She scanned the room like she expected to find it empty until her gaze fell on him, and she smiled. Not wide, not warm, a small, knowing curl of her lips. She ordered tea, sat across from him, didn't ask if the seat was taken. Her name was Evelyn. She didn't offer a last name. She didn't ask for his. Not yet. Instead, she started talking. About the rain, but not like most people do. She said she liked it because it made the streets quiet enough to hear what's underneath. They spoke for hours, long after the other customer left, long after the old man rattled his keys and wiped down the counters, signaling closing time. It wasn't small talk, it was confessions. They spoke of insomnia, of walking in the middle of the night for no reason, lying there for hours with the sense that something is moving in the dark, of the kind of loneliness that grows teeth if you leave it alone for too long. For Marcus, conversation usually felt like labor. With her, it was like slipping warm underwater. They saw each other every day after that. Walks beneath flickering street lamps, late night calls that bled into dawn. She never spoke much about her past. When he asked, she'd shrug and say, "Some things are only interesting if they stay buried." One night, she told him she sometimes sees faces in empty rooms. Not ghosts, not hallucinations, just the sense of a person standing there, watching, waiting. She said she doesn't mind it anymore, that they're harmless, unless you notice them too much. Marcus laughed, but later that night, laying in bed, he couldn't stop glancing at the corner of his room. The first cracks came quiet. Evelyn began disappearing for hours at a time, then days. When she resurfaced, she was distant. Not angry, just wrong. Like someone had replaced her with a recording. When they met again after one of her vanishings, her gaze kept shifting just over his shoulder. One evening at her apartment, he noticed the wall behind her bed. It was covered in photographs. Not friends, not family. Strangers. Taken from far away. Parking lots, sidewalks, bus stops. Every face caught mid-expression. Unaware. "I like to remember people," she said softly, "before they're gone." The unease settled deep in his gut and stayed. That night Marcus dreamed of those faces, but in the dream they moved, they turned, and looked directly at him, mouths opening like they were about to speak. He woke to his phone buzzing. A text from Evelyn. "You looked peaceful." He hadn't told her he'd been asleep. The next time he went to see her, her apartment door was ajar. Inside, the air was heavy, damp. Something faintly metallic clung to it. Evelyn sat in the dark, staring out the window. "You've changed," she whispered. Marcus tried to laugh it off. "Sometimes," she said, "people stop being worth keeping." By the door, he noticed a stack of photographs. The most recent one was of him, taken from across the street. The days after that, blurred. He ignored her calls, blocked her number, but the feeling of being watched grew stronger. Once, walking home, he saw her across the street, standing perfectly still in the rain, too far to see clearly, but he knew it was her. She didn't move, even as cars passed between them. Then the photos began arriving in the mail, one of him at the grocery store, one unlocking his apartment door, one asleep in bed. He moved to a new place, far across town, told no one the address, but the photos kept coming. 2 weeks later, late at night, Marcus woke to the sound of rain, except it wasn't outside. It was dripping inside. He followed it into the living room. The balcony door was open. Wet footprints led inward. She was standing there, soaked through, head tilted, just like the night they met. "I remembered you," she said, her voice calm, almost warm. "I remember everyone I keep." Marcus backed away. The air was thick, unbreathable. "You were perfect at first," she continued, "but you let the wrong thoughts in, and when that happens, things rot." The lights flickered and went out. The last thing Marcus saw was her smile, stretched too wide in the dark. 1 week later, neighbors reported hearing water dripping in Marcus's apartment, even though no one had been seen entering or leaving. When the landlord opened the door, the place was empty. The only thing inside was a single photograph taped to the wall. Marcus, sitting at a cafe table, smiling, and the reflection of the cafe window, Evelyn, head tilted. She always remembers the one she keeps.